Well, hello there, everybody. This is Mark D'Antonio with SkyTour LiveStream, and I have Daryl Mason with me. Hey, Daryl, what's going on?
Hello, Mark. I'm good. How are you? Hello, everybody.
We are doing fine over here. We're poking around. The moon is up, and we're going to still try to do some really cool things with Nebulae. You can see on our screens now, we actually have a really cool view. This is the Trifid Nebula in Sagittarius. It's kind of low. Moon is up clearly because we have this blue sky appearance. Hello, David Schmidt. Hello, Tim F. Hey, Marco. Thanks for joining us. Muttley, what's going on? Lane, hello there. Welcome. You know, if any of you guys are not subscribers, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, will you? Because we're having a good time tonight. And this is the first stream I had since I went to Norway and then Arizona and Los Angeles before that. So it's really been quite a run so far. But yeah, you know, this is really pretty. I'm liking how the observatory is performing. This is a new filter that we're using right now. I was telling Daryl about it. This filter is called the UHC2, and it stands for ultra high contrast. S filter, and this is a filter that allows us to see this red glow of hydrogen, plus this blue glow that you can just see here. The blue is lost kind of in the moon glow a little bit. And I'm going to make sure I'm not talking out of my rear end here when I talk about the moon. I want to see exactly where it is. So let's go over here and let's look for the moon. It's got to be up because that blue is kicking my butt, you know. So let's go see. That's south.
The moon will be over.
I'm heading toward the east right now.
Yeah, there's some hot.
There it is. Yeah, I knew the moon was up. Yeah, and the moon is actually approaching full, just under full. So we basically have a night sky that's gonna be kind of bright tonight. But you know what we're doing? We're actually taking advantage of the fact that we actually have some clear sky, man. We have some clear sky, guys. This is good. This is good. Thank you, Tim, for welcoming me back. This is fantastic. When I get a chance, I want to tell you guys about how I ended up spending my time in Norway trying to find a murdered woman's body with the Bergen police out in the middle of the woods. That was quite a...
Goodness.
Yeah, I know. That was quite a trip, you might say. You know?
Wow.
Yeah. And, you know, she was found in the right where they thought she was. But I'll tell you more about that. And Lane, I was going to mention, I did not get to see the Northern Lights because when I went over, it's still light until about 11 o'clock at night there. The sun's down by around 11:30 p.m., which sounds so foreign to us. But you know what? In northern latitudes, that's what happens when the sun is near the north. You get very little night. But as winter approaches, they're going to be in darkness for a lot more hours per night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been following that over on spaceweather.com, and the skies are transitioning now. And they're transitioning really fast, that part north.
Yeah.
That they are now seeing aurora up there.
That's right.
I have a nephew that lives up in Alaska, and he gets some great auroras there, too.
Yeah, it's true. And I know, for instance, that in the regions that I was in Oslo and Bergen, where Bergen's on the west coast, where their old Nazi submarine pens were. I wanted to go see those. I didn't get to.
Wow.
But the weather got really bad. And we're talking about literally having to fly another 2 or 3 hours north to northern Norway to start to see the auroras. And it only is going to be like from, October on. So we're a little early, but I might be in Sweden in October. So if I can, we're going to pull off a Northern Lights expedition too. And then November, I'm back in Arizona, I think. So it's going to be pretty cool. Hey, there's Marianne. Hi, Marianne.
Hi, Marianne.
And Marianne is helping me to figure out what I'm going to do in order to get to Arizona again in November. She's helpful in that regard. Of course, she just wants me to ride along with her in her police car on Thursday. She wants me there and go on her patrol. I'm not sure I want to, because she'll yell at me for not getting out of the car when she told me I had to get out of the car, but only if I had a reflective vest, and then she forgot the vest conveniently back at the station and told me to get out of the car anyway. I think she's trying to kill me.
That's live PD sort of stuff right there.
I know, right? Nah, she's funny. She is funny. Cool. She's actually she's really a good person. Yeah, this is beautiful. The Trifid Nebula. You can see some beautiful detail, even with the moon up. Look at that, guys. You can see, and the new filter is performing extremely well. I can make that into something really, really pretty, beyond what we see here, Let's go back to our live view, and let's see if we can do something else. Let's, I want to actually look
Can I ask?
Yes.
I'm sorry, can I ask a question?
You may.
You might have said something maybe before we went online about trying to come up with a filter for the moon glow.
Yeah.
The moon glow is the exact same color as sky glow in the daytime, isn't it? From Rayleigh scattering, the blue sky, etc.
Yes.
It's just, we're not seeing the sun directly. We're seeing it reflected off the moon.
That's correct.
But the color and tone and everything is exactly the same, isn't it? Just a little less obvious. I'd wonder if a guy could filter that out.
You might be able to, but, and I want to do that. You want to do that. We all want to do that. But the fact is, if we were to do this, we're also cutting down the light once again. We don't want to cut down our light, but we have to, in order to filter out such things. But I have a color correction thing that I do in the program later, and that will actually correct for the moon glow. But you know what? For the visual stuff that we're doing, it doesn't really help so much, does it? We'd rather have the visual, looking gorgeous. I get it.
Oh, sure.
I get it.
And it doesn't mind so much. It doesn't matter so much for visual, and you're getting so much better red response out of the new filter. I think it looks great. It
really is much, much better. And now I'm going to do 15 seconds at 32,000 ISO here on our favorite Lagoon Nebula. Let's see what we get. I'm particularly looking for some of those dark lanes that we see in the lagoon. That's dark dust that you see. It's not an absence of lit up hydrogen gas. It's actually dark dust that's sitting in front of it. All right. Oh, there's the lagoon, and look at that. And I can move it up a little. Wow, not bad. We can see some of these. Nice. We see some dark lanes. This is, again, for a one-off shot with the moon out, this is not bad at all. Normally, if you guys recall, we would actually just look at clusters during the lunar apparitions, but we're not tonight because we can use the filter for the nebulae and just take slightly longer exposures and get these gorgeous shots. So this is what the lagoon looks like tonight, right there. Isn't that beautiful? The Lagoon Nebula is Messier 8 in Sagittarius. It's right below M20, which is the Trifid Nebula, which we were just looking at. It's beautiful. The lagoon, by the way, is powered by a star right here that you really can't see too well. But it's a star right in here in this place called the Hourglass, and it's an O star. It's one of the hottest stars in the universe. Hello, James. Welcome.
Hello, James.
And Creamers is here. How you doing?
Creamer says you need to change your title.
Is it still? I forgot the title. You know what, guys? You're right. It shouldn't say Persia. Darn it all. I changed everything but that. My mistake. I'm going to go do that right now while Daryl talks.
Oh, hi, everybody. That's M8 right there. Lagoon Nebula, and M20 Trifid Nebula sits right up above it, and they both sit right up above the tip of the spout of the teapot in Sagittarius. You might have to do an image search or something, but just Google Sagittarius teapot, and the the asterism, the unofficial layout. It's not the official constellation, but it's what people see when they look at the constellation. It looks like a teapot, handle to the left, spout to the right, and lid on top. And M8 and M20 sit right up above the tip of the spout of the teapot. And the center of the galaxy, a Sagittarius A star black hole and all that stuff, sit just a little bit to the lower left of the tip of the spout.
And what's going on with, I fixed the title by the way, and what's going on with the Sagittarius A black hole? What's happening there? Do you know, Daryl? I think you do.
I haven't seen it, but I heard that the team that the Event Horizon Telescope, I heard they have imaged Sagittarius A star also. I haven't seen images yet, though.
Yeah, they have. They actually have started to process that. And so for the first time, we're going to see the supermassive black hole in the center of our galaxy. And
I'm looking forward to that.
So am I, considering that we saw the event horizon and the accretion disk around a supermassive black hole 55 million light years away. And now we're going to see it from only 30,000 light years away. That's going to be a remarkable increase in resolution.
I bet you're right.
I think so.
Yeah, I'm just endlessly fascinated by that. We've talked about, and you've shown before, the time-lapse imaging of the stars that are orbiting the black hole at the center of the galaxy.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see their extreme motion and stuff. I can't wait to see that from the event horizon. I think it's just going to knock everybody's socks off.
I think it will. It will indeed. I cannot wait, because that's going to be just beautiful. And by the way, just so you know, this is the horizon here. This is the horizon. We're actually kind of low to the horizon right now. Sagittarius is quite low, as is Jupiter. So we're looking kind of low right now on the horizon. But just so I can say we did it, let's go check out Jupiter. Off we go into the wild Jupiter yonder. All right, and you'll see Jupiter pulling in here. There it is.
There's the teapot.
Yeah.
Jupiter here is setting by 11 o'clock at night now.
Yeah.
I've been watching it whenever I have a chance to go out, and earlier and earlier every night, and Saturn's a couple hours behind it.
That's right.
It's going to be fall before you know it.
Yep. The new filter shows Jupiter far better than the other two, so we're going to take a look at that. I just got to do some critical focus here. So let's bring this up and do a little focusing here. All right. I'm being really cagey with my focus. I'm trying to... You'll see it go way out. Okay, there it's out. Even more out. And then we're going to come in.
I think you have two moons, one right above the other one, really close there.
That's
the
right.
Two in the middle.
Right there, yep. Those are two moons we have. I'm not sure if this is Io or if one of these is Io, because if they're going far, if they're going behind, they could look like they're in front, in between where Io is and Jupiter. But I don't know if this is Io. That might be Europa. I'm not sure. Well, you know what? We can tell. We can find out. But first of all,
I can find out for you if you want.
All right, go for it. I'm just gonna sit here and bring down my ISO and get us looking at a little better view of Jupiter. Good music for Jupiter. I'll bring it down just so I can start to see the clouds here. All right, we need to just do a little more focusing because it's not quite there yet. There we are.
Io is the closest to Jupiter's right.
Okay.
Looks like Ganymede and Europa are the two almost on top of each other.
All right.
And Callisto farthest over to the right.
Yeah, Callisto is typically the farthest one away because it is the farthest one away. It's pretty lousy seeing with Jupiter this low to the horizon. Also, keep in mind, folks, that we actually have a clouds in the air. Okay, this is we're beating the odds here with this stream tonight. And let's see. So now I've got. Let me just. There we go. So let me get my view going here like this. Now let's zoom in. Let's see if we have some focus on this. And not yet. We need
one of the most
more.
One of the most poignant things I ever saw when I did public programs.
Yeah.
This was back in the 90s down in the San Juan Mountains here in southwest Colorado.
Okay.
I was doing a public program for one of the state parks for the Perseid meteor shower.
Okay.
And Jupiter was setting not long after the sun. Okay. But it made for a very pretty image in the telescope after sunset, you know.
Okay.
You couldn't see a lot of detail because it was down in the murk.
Yeah.
But you could see the two big equatorial bands, and you can see the moons beautifully. And an elderly lady came to my telescope, and she was reduced to tears when she saw that.
Really?
She just thought that was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen.
No, that's beautiful.
And that just really touched my heart when she was beside herself.
That's beautiful.
Seeing the planet and the moons like that.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not getting much detail with Jupiter so low.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's okay, because what I'm going to do is I am going to go to a nearby star cluster where we just were. And I also want to go to the Eagle, which is going to be up here more. But I want to first get some focus. So I'm going to take us back to the lagoon here. And run the telescope this way, run it that way. Whip it around on the right side like this and blow it away that way. Alright, and you should see stars pulling in here. Not yet, you won't, because I've reduced it for planetary viewing. I gotta increase our f-stop. There we go. That's 8,000.
You can see the teapot there, just lower left of center. And
are you on Skype looking at the screen I'm sharing?
Oops, I'm sorry, I'm on YouTube.
So you're 30 seconds behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back on your screen.
Okay, I'm going to just drop us in over here. Alright, pull us in like that. And now, I'm just going to take an 8,000, ISO 8,000 for 4 seconds, just because I want to focus and see how it looks. Okay. Alright, as you can see, it's out of focus, so that's what I wanted. Alright, so now I can go back to this guy and set myself up for a focusing event. And this means I gotta go this way. Alright, okay. And let's focus. Okay, out. The proper way to focus is not to just go to where you think, but to go past it, so you can see what going past it looks like this. Whoa, did you see that? It just went through the field.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, satellite.
Upper left.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and when you get closer, you might see there's a dim star to the lower right of the lower of those two bright stars.
Yeah, like right here.
When you to the lower right, yeah.
Oh, lower right, right here.
Yes, right there.
Yep.
That comes and goes when you get close to critical focus.
Yep. And it's there, so let me see what I've got. Here's a 4-second view again. Not quite there yet. You're seeing the behind the scenes, folks. We like to do some things like this. Blue Danube is beautiful too. Ah, yes. Tapping it. Try again. I usually do this stuff before I start the stream, but you know what? I wanted to do it now. Not quite there. Actually, we got a little walk, but it's getting closer. I do have also soon, not now, but the ability to do it automatically. It'll be an auto-focusing system.
Really?
Yeah. Hell yeah. I mean, heck yeah. All right, so out.
I still see the Pan Am Clipper docking with the space station when I hear this.
Do we ever not see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. 2001 A Space Odyssey is what he's talking about.
Uh-huh.
Bum, bum, bum. Yeah, see, and could do a little better than that. Bum, bum, bum.
I always thought I was the only guy in the theater who had read the book before I saw the movie. I knew what was going on. Half the people in the audience didn't have a clue.
Yeah, no, I knew. I knew what was going on. That's right, Muttley. Blue Danube is a perfect selection. And I can play it without any retribution from YouTube. Ta-da! Yep. You might think I'm just going crazy here with the focus, but I'm actually doing something a little more advanced. I'm cycling the focus. Trying to get.
You got dim ones coming in on the lower left too.
Yeah.
Over in zone 4.
I see it. And if I just do this, you can see them.
Yep.
Okay. And now let me take those out and then bring them in. Okay, so now they're gone. And then they're coming back. Because it's kind of low, I should be looking at something a little higher in the sky.
Yeah.
But I'm having fun with this. And with the Blue Danube.
Maybe about as good as it gets right there.
Well, it is low.
Don't know what your scene's like tonight.
Kind of lousy, but you know what? It seems like we're getting. I mean, this is what it looks like. See, that's not so bad actually. When we look at it for what it's intended. This is 4 seconds, by the way. With this new filter, you can see. Oops, hang on. Let me bring this back. Here we are. Okay, so with this new filter, you can see how we have this area here. Let me zoom in on that because I want to show you. Only 4 seconds. What the new filter shows this nebulous area, the red hydrogen emission, beautifully, along with these dark areas here, dark lanes.
Yeah.
Now, when we process these, you've seen how I've brought out so much in this area. Really, really nice. I think we're okay for the focus at the moment. And just on cue. Yeah.
Can't see the hourglass too now.
You saw it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, there it is. When you take a
hourglass.
Yeah, when you take a photograph of that, that short of a time, then it's a little better. You can see it.
Yep.
Let me bring the bottom screen up into view here because this has got my stuff, and I don't want to jip anybody out of seeing those things. All right. Now, let's head up and go. I'm not sure if I have to move the dome yet. You might wonder why I have never bothered to fix that process of moving the dome. Well, the reason is because I'm going to get rid of the dome. It's going to become a roll-off roof observatory. And so all I care about is working on the actual roll-off roof mechanism. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm not bothering with the dome here. Okay, let's go to the Eagle Nebula. And we're going to go here and there. And
Didn't you say something about maybe keeping the dome in Connecticut? And,
yeah.
Yeah, maybe getting a new scope for the new observatory in Arizona?
Yeah, I want to do that. Yep. But in Arizona, it's going to be a roll-off roof. And that's because I won't be able to be there every moment.
Right.
It's going to be in the middle of the desert.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
More power to you.
Well, that's the place to put it, right? One of the places to put it. Okay, let's
I just hope you can see Omega Centauri from there. If you can.
I don't know. Maybe.
Hey, Justin.
Hey, Justin T. Hey, Dagger. All right, let's see. And Julian, how you doing? Thanks for joining us, Julian. I want to thank all of you guys for joining us when we do the Sky Tour. This is wonderful. You know, we have the best music, the best hosts, the best skies. Well, we make the best skies out of the skies that we have, don't we? All right, 10,000 is 6 seconds. I just want to see what we get.
Best audience, too.
Well, I was coming to that. And Harry Michigan, how you doing? Okay. I'm a little... I can see it there.
Yeah.
All right, yep, I'm going to move it over. Let me get back to... There we are. So let's do this. And that. Okay. Now... And let's bring it over here. You might be able to see those faint stars moving over. Bring it up a little bit. Has anyone ever tried to dance a waltz to this? It is a waltz.
It is.
6 seconds at 10,000.
Blue Dandy waltz.
It
Not me.
Dandy.
I've never danced to a waltz in my life.
No, I have. I have. There it is. There's the eagle. You can see it, but I'm only doing 6 seconds, by the way. If we want to do this right, we are going to add a little bit more time in here. All right, so let's add some time. And instead of 6 seconds at 10,000, let's go to 12,800. And let's take this to 15 seconds, shall we? So 3 full stops or more. And off we go.
Refresh my memory. M16 Eagle's in Serpent's Cowdet, isn't it?
Yeah, cap it, yep.
Or Capit?
Yeah.
Yeah, one's the head, one's the tail.
Look at that. You can see the dark. This image pales compared to some of the ones we've done, but you can see the actual these beautiful pieces sticking up. These are the pillars of creation that the Hubble took pictures of.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see if I can actually get this. Really can see it there.
Also,
see it really
also
nicely.
the actual eagle in the Eagle Nebula.
That's right. That is exactly right. Yep. Now let me do this. That's a remote close-up. I don't want to do that. I want to do this. And then this. Little processing just to see what we get. And change this a little bit. Add some brightness change. Okay.
Hello, David Schmidt.
Dave Schmidt is here from Thailand. Yeah, look at that. That's pretty. Okay, so the moon does all this. I mean, trust me. If we were looking at the Eagle Nebula without this filter, with the moon as it is, we would not see anything at all. Nothing. We wouldn't see any of this. We wouldn't see any of this nebulous detail. It would just be kind of like a bland glow without any definition whatsoever. Because that's what happens with the moon.
I think you're going to be so tickled when you get that filter under a dark sky.
Oh, I bet you I will. Now we're going to go south a little bit to the Omega Nebula. The Omega Nebula. For I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am your Omega Nebula. And keep in mind there's clouds around, so it's kind of tough right now to expect to see anything of any really exceptional value right now. The moon is out. There's some clouds around. We actually have we have more against us than for us. The fact that we could see any detail at all is actually quite astonishing. All right, let's go here. Let's do 15 seconds at 12,800 again and see if we can see anything. And once again, I wish to welcome everyone to the SkyTour LiveStream. We have 28 of you watching, and I am grateful for all of you. Yeah, look at that. Wow. That's with the moon out.
That was very nice.
That is with the moon out. Look at that. That's with a full moon, folks. We still see all this extra detail. This is not bad. You know, without this filter, we might not even see, we'd see about this little piece right here, and that's it. We wouldn't see much. Wow.
Always looked like an upside down check mark to me, or like a duck decoy sitting on its head.
It's true, it does.
One of the Omega Nebula's other names, I believe, is Swan Nebula, isn't it?
Yes.
They think it looks like a swan, except it's upside down.
Yeah, you gotta flip it over, yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So that's not bad for a 15-second shot, guys. Look at it. You can see all this subtle detail in here. And let me see if I can play with this just a little bit, shall I? Let me play with it, Smithers. I shall make it better. Whatever you say, sir. So let's go in and let's play with some well, let's see what that looks like. Okay, this music always floors me. It's funny. And let's see, what do we have now for... Let's go into the color correction for this guy. And let's bring this, get a little extra contrast out of this. What do you think of that? Never mind the color. The color is, of course, a little bit, altered because of the moon, number one, and number two, the filter. I'd have to color correct, and I can color correct all these things later. But boy, it's really pretty. That beautiful nebula has just always been stunning to me. It's always sort of often neglected, because the eagle leaves it behind, leaves it in the dust, in terms of how good it is, frankly. So let's see now. I want to...
You know what this means, don't you?
Uh-oh, what does it mean?
You're going to have to take new pictures of everything you've ever shot.
Oh, you think?
I bet you.
Oh, well, I hope not.
I bet won't be able to stop you from doing them over again.
You think?
This filter's really impressive.
I've already done that. I've already done this.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, not bad. All right, well, let's see. Let's go back to our wonderful world of sky. And okay, that was the Omega Nebula. That's right here. And this guy might be a little too far over. Maybe not. I might be able to see this. There's a little planetary that I wanted to check out. Okay, a planetary nebulae are the remains of a star, kind of like the sun, that has died. They don't explode. They basically slough off their outer layers as they puff away as red giants as they use up all their hydrogen gas. And then that puffing process occurs many times or several times. And so you get these shells of gas around the star. And they look like little spheres sometimes around the star. Well, let's check it out. If hopefully we can get to it. I'd like to make sure we can get to it. So here we go. We're heading over. And I see a star over there. So We at least have stars, which means that we don't have dome in the way. I apologize for my cough. I came back from Arizona with a little bit of a cough. All right, and we're gonna go up a little bit, and let's see if we can get there. And I'm gonna do 10 seconds at 12,800 just to see what I get. Anything you want to see, Daryl?
Hey, go for it. I'm just along for the ride. I'm having fun. I hope you are.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I know you are.
Yeah. Well,
hope the audience is.
Do I ever not have fun with this? Let's see here. I think we got a little bit of a problem. I think this is the nebula right there. I think that's it. I could be wrong, but it's a small little nebula. So not very impressive relative to us, you know?
Yeah.
David Schmidt, why are you boring people? What do you mean you're boring people? You're not boring people.
Oh. What about the Great Sagittarius Star Cloud? I forget which M number that is.
Well,
do you think the moon would wash out the stars?
Oh yeah. I mean, we'll see some of the brighter ones, but of course it's not a wide view object anyway. I'm actually, even with the wide field refractor imager on the telescope, that would not show up. I'm working on a few things. I'm working on trying to get another scope active at all times on the...
There it is, right there.
Yeah, but it's not... it's not going to show up.
I just saw it on the chart.
Yeah. No, it's right here, but, you know... I mean, we can go look and see. Why not, right?
Sure.
I never say no to anybody wanting to see things. That's what we're all about. All right. So let's go check it out.
That's the small Sagittarius star cloud.
It is.
Maybe we won't see anything.
What the hell?
Now, when you march up the Milky Way there out of Sagittarius, I mean, they all just kind of line up for you, you know?
That's right. All right. Well, now let's just do 15 seconds here. All right, and let's first of all get us in a position where we can. Okay, let's try this. Hey, Gamertag, how you doing? Welcome on over to SkyTour LiveStream. Don't recall whether I've seen you here before. But, oh, by the way, Daryl, be on the lookout for Amanda. Look at this. Look at this. That's not bad for the moon.
Excuse me.
That's not
I see
bad.
a star cloud.
Yeah, that's not bad for having the moon. Having a moon eye. Look at these over here. Let's adjust this a little bit. Now, here's something for you guys to understand. And some of you do, some of you don't. But I'm going to say it. Every one of these stars technically has a very strong likelihood of having planets. Except for like O and B stars. But stars like these guys down here, these M's and K stars. This is certainly an M star over here, this orangey one. Here's one. Okay. And it's by color. If you notice, there's a lot of stars in here that are red. And we found that most stars that are M-type stars might very well have planets as well. And we've seen that most stars in our galaxy are M-type stars. So most stars are like these small little red percolators that just sit out there in the middle of the galaxy and just do their thing. Here's a beautiful little asterism over here. Check this out. What's an asterism? An asterism is a pattern within the other stars. Look at that. It has a star that's very likely an M star here. This might be a K. We have to look that up. And then we have this beautiful faint cluster over here. All right, and we said, well, what cluster is that? Let's go find out, shall we? And if we go back to we go back here, and we can see, actually, that we're probably, this red square, that is our field of view. So we actually see, when we're looking here, we see this faint cluster here, which is NGC 6603 right there.
All right.
That's NGC 6603 that we see right there. So, and that's what we see when we come back here. Here is 6603, and here's the star cluster, and this is the overall view. So this square represents the red square in our view, so you can see directly what we're seeing. Okay, and so if we zoom in, you can see the different stars, and you can see the orange stars. Like this one here is orange, right? And as you can see, that is an M-type star, which is really, really pretty. Undoubtedly very small. Sometimes these stars are quite small, only a little bit larger than Jupiter, much smaller than the Sun, both in mass and diameter. And these M stars are really quite they've saved our planetary outlook, actually, because we thought that many of the stars in our galaxy would have planets, but M stars outnumber all the other stars by a huge amount.
Right.
And most of the planets are around those. Actually, almost all the M stars we've seen so far have some sort of planets around them. So this is really an interesting finding, Now, I wonder, let's see if we can take our view. Went to the Omega, went to the Eagle, and went to Lagoon down below. Here is that this was 6603, this is 6604, in between the Eagle and the Omega. Okay, and I think I would like to make sure we can also view our mainstay objects that we like to view, which is, if we go up north here, I might have to move the dome. I would really like to view the wild duck cluster.
Right, I was going to say wild duck cluster right there.
Yeah.
Constellation Scutum, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and that's good. And and I added the constellation boundaries here, so you can see the constellation boundaries. Okay.
Scutum means shield.
Yep.
I forget who the shield belonged to. It was somebody famous.
Maybe it belonged to you.
Not me.
Okay. All right, let's go to the wild duck cluster, shall we? And let's make sure the dome is not going to be in the way. So here we go. Oh, I see stars. That's always a good thing. Yeah. I think that's the cluster right there. But we'll bring that up. Since I know we're right there, I can just shut the telescope down for the moment and bring it up here. Head east a little bit now. I'm pretty convinced this is it. And we'll jog west a bit. Now we'll do 15 seconds at 12,800 one more time. And see what we got. Hey, Joanna.
Harry Mushigian asks, is M4 up? M4 is probably about to set, Harry.
Yeah, that's true.
M4 is right next to Antares, and Antares is to the lower right of Jupiter, and Jupiter is getting pretty low over in the west-southwest now. I don't know if he'll be able to catch that or not.
Yeah, I don't think so, but that's an excellent call, Harry. It looks beautiful. I didn't get to look at it tonight, and I apologize for that, because it is a really pretty cluster. All right. I was right about M11. So we're going to take a look. 15 seconds at 12,800 right now. Joanna W. says, hello, Mark. I've been lurking since the lunar eclipse earlier this year. I love these live sky evenings. Where are you located? Well, we're in Connecticut, Joanna, right now. We're in northwestern Connecticut. We're still planning to move out west. I actually secured land out there. I didn't buy it. I actually been granted the use of it. So we're going to put an observatory up there. We're going to put a pad out there. I'm going to be inspecting it in November when I go out there to do something else. And I will be finding the spot out there that we're going to put the pad. And then we're going to drop a building on it with a roll-off roof. And it's going to be quite spectacular. You know, really quite spectacular. Yes, James, don't rub it in. James says, M4 is still up on my side of the equator. Yeah. On our side of the equator, it's really low. This is, right here, you're looking at M11. This is called the Wild Duck Cluster. And to see it in a little more detail, this is what we're talking about. It's this cluster sitting out in space right here. It's really beautiful. The wild duck is actually a really interesting cluster because of the fact that it's 6,000 light years away, and as such, we actually see it quite bright and quite beautiful. You know.
That's very nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? The blue cast is from the filter, but it's kind of cool because the blue cast is coming also from the moon. I could have added another filter to block out the moonlight. I actually have it right in front of me, but I didn't put it on the telescope because I like to just get what I can get without having to mess with the telescope. You know, I don't want to actually add too much. Okay, so a little more jog west. Let's do another 15 seconds, and we'll see if we can get this just a little more crisp. So it's going to show up around here now. So this mass will be around about here. A little bit to the left. Hey, Deborah Hearn. How you doing? Thank you for joining us. Oh, look at that. See how much more crisp that is now, Daryl? Beautiful. That came really, 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 really pretty. Deb, how are you?
That's very nice.
How's Massachusetts, Deb? Deborah Hearn's joining us from Massachusetts. So where are you from? I know James Dugan is from Australia. I know that David Schmidt is from Bangkok. And Deb Hearn is from Massachusetts. Daryl is from Colorado. I'm from Connecticut. Where else are you from? Tell me where you guys are from in the chat. Just type it in and tell me where you're from. I'd like to know.
As James Kirk once said, I'm from Iowa. I just work in outer space, okay?
I'm from Iowa. I just work in outer space. Spock, beam me up. There's no intelligent life here. Yeah. You'll notice it. Here's something to take a look at right here. This is the Wild Duck Cluster. And look at this. There's one star right in here that's orangey. Oh, Joanna, North Carolina, yep. Jeff Lucas, Ohio, nice. Very, very nice.
I noticed earlier the new filter's showing red stars much better.
Yes. It will, because it's also passing the hydrogen alpha light much cleaner, which is more in the red end.
Right.
Well, Muttley, you're from New South Wales? We'll say hi to James Dugan. I actually, I might be going to Australia, guys. I forgot to tell you this.
Wow.
When I spoke at the UFO Congress this past week, and there was a contingent there from Australia. Wonderful people, Glenn Martin, Irene Previn, and others. And they are really keen on getting me to come down to Australia. So I'm looking forward to that possibility. I want to visit Siding Spring Observatory down there. I'd like to spend time at Uluru, which is Ayers Rock. And since my mother was Native American, I have a special fondness for the Aborigine indigenous people. I've been playing the didgeridoo for many years. I make primal Aborigine instruments as a hobby, you know, and I give them away. I must have made more didgeridoos than well, it rivals the number of models I've made. And didgeridoos are fun. I mean, where else can you make a sound like and it's actually meant to be that way, you know? Julian,
I learn
Norwich,
something
UK.
about you every day.
Oh no, didgeridoos are great. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah. Julian, you're from Norwich, UK, 70 miles northeast of London. I was in London when I actually worked on a miniseries there, a submarine miniseries, of course. That's kind of what I do many times. When I'm not working on What on Earth or NASA's Unexplained Files, I actually work on real documentary type stuff as well. And we stayed in the Carnarvon Hotel, which is actually on Uxbridge Road in London. And then I went. That's actually where I saw Jurassic Park, believe it or not. The movie was playing there at the time, and I actually went in and saw that right there. It was funny as heck. It's really funny to hear an English audience, though. And the best thing about British TV, the commercials, they actually have humor. You know, here they try to say these cars are so elegant, and they show them driving around cliff roads. Over there, they show them going off cliffs and smashing up and saying, see, now that wouldn't happen if you bought this car over here. You know, really funny stuff. They really, I really enjoyed their commercials. Very, very different. The miniseries was called Nautilus, Julian. That was one. I worked on several actually over there. But Nautilus was the one where we actually had a lot of submarine miniatures that were actually in water tanks, and we were running them deep in these water tanks. And that was sort of our claim to fame, was that we would build submarines that would actually work like real submarines in water. And they were just models. So it was really kind of cool.
Mark, do you watch any of the RC airplane or ships, whatever, channels on YouTube?
Oh, I do.
There are people putting out amazing stuff there now.
I know. I fly radio-controlled planes. I have for many years. My favorite plane to fly is the Piper Pawnee. Now, I also have an RV-8 that I like to fly, but the Piper Pawnee is interesting because it's like an ag wagon. It's one of these things that like crop dusts, and it's meant to fall out of the sky and slow right down. It has big flaps, and I drop the flaps, and this thing drops right down from high altitude at high speed. Throw those flaps out, and wow, it just slows right down. You can land it in about 10 feet. You know, and so I put actual FAA lighting on it and everything so that it has proper lighting like real planes, strobes and all that stuff. You know, really cool. The RV-8 has it too. I mean, yeah, I went all out when I was doing that, and then I transitioned over to drones because I felt that drones were more useful for doing things like you know, fugitive retrieval and finding lost children, which is what we like to do when we can. But I've been doing that for a number of years as well. Let's go over here. Now, let's find someplace else to go. M11 was really pretty.
It is.
I want to take a look at M20.
I'm sorry, what slaves me with some of those RC models now, they've gone up to like triple extra large size.
Oh, yeah.
That, I mean, good grief, some of these things, they look like they're almost big enough a guy could actually get in it and fly it.
Yeah, there's half scale. There's half scale RC planes out there, you know. It's common to see 1/3 scale extras and things like that, and yaks, you know. And people do these aerobatics with them. And frankly, I mean, I'm going to go to the dark place for saying this, but it's really, really cool when they crash.
It is. Good God, how many man hours and how many dollars go up some of those?
Yeah, I don't like watching them crash. You know, I mean, yes, I do. I mean, that's a total lie. We all watch them to see if they're going to crash. But the fact of the matter is, these guys are spending this money. They know that sooner or later you fly them, you're going to crash them. You know? Yeah. And I don't like that I like this. I don't like that I like to see them crash. But I do.
You sound like a NASCAR fan.
Right? Yeah, any typical NASCAR fan. This is M26, guys. We're looking at M26. It's a little globular cluster in the constellation of, is this Scutum?
Scutum?
Yeah, right there, M26. So let's go see if we captured it. That's still M11. There it is, right in the middle. Look at that. I particularly like this little tiny pair of stars right here. Check it out. Now we have a little star walk here, which we can correct, but look at that. There's two little stars right there that are right next to each other. I think that's pretty cool. Hey, Genghis, how you doing?
Hello, Genghis.
Hey, Bobby. How you doing? Nice to see you here.
There's Ronald.
Yeah,
hello,
I see
Bobby.
Ronald. Oh, there's Ronald in here, of course. That's our Ronald. He lives on a postage stamp of Jeffers, Minnesota. You know, it's a small town. You can walk around, just get some exercise, spend about a half hour walking around the whole town. Can you imagine living in a place that size? What do you think, Daryl? Would you live there?
I've lived in small towns. I lived in a couple of small towns up in the mountains here, and I liked it very much.
Yeah.
Prefer that to living in a big city.
Oh, yeah. I know people that I mean, I hate cities, frankly. I think people could just imagine that's true of me. I would not live in a big city.
I agree. I came here, long story I won't go into, but yeah, Colorado Springs is too darn big for me anymore. It's like over 500,000 people now, I think, in the metro area.
Yeah.
About three quarters in the metro area, I guess.
Amazing.
Too big.
For sure.
I liked it when I lived up in Leadville, Colorado. 10,200 feet elevation, highest city in the United States.
Yep.
A couple thousand people, and I had excellent skies up there.
Yeah.
That was the best.
Joanna, what are you saying? Your comments are not going through? I see your comments. Oh, you said, can we see Saturn? I think... I'm not sure. I think the Saturn might still be up. It's behind Jupiter. It's coming. It's going to set after Jupiter, but it's going to be close. But I will, if I can see Saturn, I will show you Saturn. Okay, let me just give my telescope a little tweak here. I want to move things up a little. Go eastward a little. Excuse me. And let's do 15 seconds and see what we get. We are looking for this little planetary nebula called the Phantom Streak, NGC 6741. It's a 9.6 magnitude planetary. We should be able to see it. It might be a little bit blue, which is a good thing. And we got a little star walk here. I think that's it right there. What do you think, Daryl?
I don't know. Can you zoom in on it?
Yeah, I think...
Looks a little fuzzy.
Yeah, it's got this... That's the artifact I was telling you about. See? 2 star images next to each other everywhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Time for collimation, or might have a secondary reflection going on someplace.
No, collimation I did, and it's okay. Oh, wait. Well, you know what? All I can say is I'm going to have to just take it again. Let me just, oh, come on. Let's do this. We'll see what we can get. Sometimes taking exposures that are long will result in it looking like a star and making it harder to actually see it for what it is. So sometimes we have to take shorter exposures. Okay, this is a much better exposure. And let's look for the Phantom Streak. See the noise reduction going on in the background?
Yeah.
That noise reduction is very, very helpful. I don't see it. It'd be so much easier if the blue of the moon wasn't there.
Yeah.
Because it's also blue. We're missing a subtle blue fringe. Okay, I steered you to a bum object, guys, because the moon is making it harder for us. I apologize. I accept the rap. I am terribly sorry. I shall resign my commission as officer of SkyTour LiveStream. If you believe that for 1 minute.
Walk the plank, matey.
Yeah, right. All right, now there are some things that we do want to see. Now, Altair is not far away, and I may have to move the dome to go see some of these other things. But let's take a look. Now that the moon's up, it's going to be harder to capture some of the fainter objects. But let's take a look at clusters we didn't expect to see. Like, why would anyone call this a flying unicorn cluster? Let's go find out, shall we? And I think we've found in the past that Stellarium has really odd names for some clusters sometimes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, some of those names go back, though, like the wild duck cluster
Yes,
you just
it
showed,
does.
M11. I mean, that's an old name.
Yeah, it
Somebody
is.
thought it looked like a cluster of wild ducks flying through the sky, I guess.
I'd have to say maybe. You know?
So, hey, if we can have a herd of wild ducks, we can have a herd of unicorns, too.
Yes, but wild ducks exist. Unicorns, they were rendered extinct 4.2 million years ago. Anyone who believes that is, don't believe that. I'm sentenced to astronomy forever. Yeah, you're darn right I am. Look at that. There's the flying unicorn. Not bad. Dead center. I like having a telescope that works, guys. Let me tell you, but I mean, it's testament to the fact that, when you take the time to do it right, you get the right results, and these are the right results. Getting this thing to show up right dead center when you want it to. That's not bad. Not bad at all.
Those stars are nice and crisp, too.
Yeah.
Those would be the doubling you saw earlier.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I can, as long as I capture the backlash. I have an anti-backlash in the scope, and it might have actually been set. And maybe what's happened is when I did a full reset on the telescope electronics, and maybe I should actually go back and do that backlash. Do a westward backlash compensation, and that might be better.
Is that the PEC, the periodic error correction?
No, that's not. That's backlash is a separate thing. PEC, folks, is with any clock drive, that is any drive that the scope is using to follow the stars. Every now and then you just get a little wobble, and the PEC that's a periodic error, and so periodic error correction corrects that little wobble as best as it can. I actually have periodic error correction off right now, because it was causing other problems. But I'm probably going to go out and spend the night just capturing the image, all the specs rather of the telescope settings where they are, and then changing a few things and seeing what I get. And Marianne is also saying how I'll be out there in November again. I was just out there. My talk in the UFO Congress, I have to tell you about that because I'm an astronomer. You guys know that. And so I'm a science guy. But you know what? I've had some things happen to me that are strictly non-scientific, and I don't know what to do with them. So basically, my talk was about that. Frankly, I've had some experiences I cannot explain. And I don't know where to put them, and so that I described, for instance, I had missing time as a kid. I don't know why. I don't know what it was. But I remember getting on the bus with my bag lunch to go to a little pond. And when I was in like 6th grade, maybe, I can't remember. And then I got off the bus with my bag lunch, and the next thing I know, I was getting on the bus with my bag lunch uneaten at the end of the day. I thought that we aborted the trip, but we did not. Everybody said, "Where were you all day?" And I was like, "What? What are you talking about? I was right here. Right? Didn't we go? Why didn't we go to the pond? We've been at the pond all day, you dummy." So anyway, that was kind of weird. And when I came home that night from the pond, I was playing out next to my house in a dirt lot, and I started having seizures and convulsions, and they had to bring me to the hospital. And they never found out what it was, and I don't know what it was. I do not know what it was. So, but it was definitely weird. So that's just one thing, Then I had to go to the hospital, have something removed from my sinus that was, it appeared to have been shoved up there. I had 3 nights of terrifying ordeal of something coming into the room and putting something up my nose.
That was the thing like from the movie Matrix, wasn't it? Where they stuck it in the guy's belly and you had one in your nose?
No. These are things that are well known in the industry, I guess, as implants. And mine was in there, and the surgeon looked at it and he goes, "Wow, you've got something huge up there." And he pulled it out. And it was really big. He said it's the biggest thing he's ever seen shoved up someone's nose. And he pulled it out, sent it down to pathology. And I told him a story about this terrifying event where I saw something in the room that didn't allow me to move my eyes. My ears were shut off. Everything was shut off. And it put something in my nose when I was trying to fight it. In the morning when I woke up, I had my pillow was covered and saturated with blood, and I was drowning in my own blood, and I was face down. I had to push off, and everybody saw it at my house because, I was very clear to show it. Look what happened. So I did whatever anybody does when something like that happens. I got dressed and went to work. Took a shower and went to work. Forgot all about it. And then couldn't breathe out of that left sinus for 4 years, or 2 years. And then I went to the surgeon, and that's when he looked and saw what was up there. Holy cow. That was huge, I don't know what it was. So, then when I was on that submarine as a guest of the Navy some time ago, obviously, I ended up part of an event that kind of went down in history that was never spoken about again, and that was we saw this object moving several hundred knots underwater and didn't have any idea what it was. We call those USOs, unknown submerged objects, but I don't know what to say. I don't know what to make of them. NGC 6738. Okay, this is a cool little cluster. It's a tiny thing. Excuse me.
Mark, may I address a question Genghis asked a minute ago?
Absolutely. Just repeat the question so everybody knows.
Yeah, let me find it here. Genghis asked, are they still naming, curious, do we still create constellations, or when was the last one named when they said enough's enough? Genghis, funny. I'll make the usual long story out of it. A guy from ancient Greece named Ptolemy, maybe 2,000 years ago, he named 48 classical constellations.
Right.
And since then, there have been a bunch of others that have come and gone. A lot of them are obsolete now. Some people named constellations or stars after kings, trying to curry favor with their rulers. Those have all fallen by the wayside. Yep. There are now considered to be 88 official constellations, just like the keys on a piano. These were nailed down by the International Astronomical Union, I do believe.
You should say hammered because of the keys on the piano, so hammered down.
Oh, I'm sorry. There are now 88 official constellations, and they're pretty much set. They are not naming anymore.
Yeah. Hey, Papa Tom. Hey, Stacy. Thanks for coming along for the ride. Good to see you guys here. And what Daryl says is true, and I think that it's probably a good thing that we don't have any more constellations, because you could have a constellation of Phil, or Bob, and that just gets too much, becomes too much, I think, But that's a good point there, Genghis. A good question.
Homer Simpson, he made his own constellations. He saw cowboys in the sky. When he had the little brother, him and Bart had little brother and big brothers, and they were competing against each other. Homer was showing his little brother the night sky. And, well, there's Bob the cowboy, and over there is Steve the cowboy.
Nobody saw me do it.
That was Homer Simpson.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Very, 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 very funny. I like The Simpsons. By the way, when I was out there in Arizona at the UFO Congress, one of my good friends who was there is a guy named Dale, and he is actually the animator for The Simpsons. And of course, he's the animator for Futurama as well. And he was selling heads in a jar. You know, you could put your head in a jar. It was really funny. You know, not an animation, but a cartoon. It was really cool.
Oh, the heads from Futurama?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like Tricky Dick and all them?
Yeah. Don't worry about me. I'm fine here with Agnew. Yeah. All right, let's see now. We're not doing badly tonight for the moon being out. I want to drop back down here. There's another globular. I want to try and find it. Maybe. It's going to be a little low. But we'll see. Hang on. I want to try something else if I can. Yeah, I was trying to find... Sagittarius star cloud there. Okay, we can try it. Let's see if we can get Saturn, shall we?
Sure.
I may need the dome to move, but you know what? Why not? We're not going to know unless we try, won't we? So let's head for that, because I know that Saturn was requested tonight, and I always like to meet the requests if I can. Ta-da! There it is. And that must be Titan out there, huh? That must be Titan. Let's go grab it. No, maybe that's not Titan. I'll find out. You gotta remember, okay? I'm an astronomer. I'm not I don't proclaim to know everything about the night sky. But I do indeed try to do that. Hey, Marianne, say hi to Don for me. Okay, hey, Don. What's going on? Don Robb is Marianne's husband. Marianne is a police officer. Don is a freaking Taekwondo guy. I am a Taekwondo guy as well. But Don could twist me up into a little pretzel. And I have no doubt, and I always treat him very, very nicely. So I think it's probably appropriate, you know? Yeah, Don.
Wise policy.
Yeah, and they're also hunters, and they're game hunters. So you walk in the house and you feel like you should hear, you know, the bleating of deer and elk, and because they're all hanging on the wall. It's like, wow, you know, you're always being watched. I can tell you that. Yeah, they're very accomplished. Yeah.
I used to play hacky sack a long time ago. I was pretty good at it. And
Yeah.
I was down in the park in the middle of downtown here one day.
Okay.
And here came the big Taekwondo master in town and 3 of his students.
Okay.
And I had the most amazing game ever of hacky sack with those guys. They were something.
Wow.
I managed to hold my own, but I couldn't do a tenth of the things they were doing.
Wow.
It was really, like flying jump kicks into a hacky sack and stuff like that.
Wow.
It was really something to see.
Well, there you go, Don. I think you're going to have to start mastering flying jump kicks into a hacky sack, Don. Okay, Marianne, if he's there, please let him know that this is something I expect to see when I come out. Flying jump kick into a hacky sack. Okay?
Oh, they were impressive. God, they were kicking the darn hacky sack, 6-8 feet off the ground, it looked like. They were airborne at any rate.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, after my last medical crap show, I don't know that I can do any flying jump kicks into a hacky sack. I might have been able to at one point, but not now. I love the spinning side kicks that were my favorite. Oh, you could take someone's face off if they're bothering you, and you could do it from a standing position. That was my favorite. That was my signature move.
That's like Billy Jack.
I like that. Billy Jack was a great movie, and maybe that's what inspired me. But I used to be able to stand literally 6 inches from somebody. 12 inches from someone. All right, facing them, and my left foot I could bring up and bring across their face before they could even react.
Yep.
It was really fast. You know. Now I think I'd probably
put up the left side of your head, and there ain't a thing you can do about it.
Bernard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was intrigued. Look at Saturn looks pretty now, huh?
Uh-huh.
I wonder what else is it? Can we see? Well, let's pull out and let's go and grab some. Let's grab another image and try and get ourselves a little bit. Okay, it's there, but faint. Let me just. Where'd it go? Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. Why do I have to be at 6400 now? I wonder if we got clouds. I wonder if we have clouds now. That's the problem. Let's see. Actually, I can tell you right now. We'll just go here. And let's go bring this up.
Very true, Marianne.
Hacky sacks don't kick back. Okay, Don. All right, I'll let you off the hook. Okay. I'm thinking I'm seeing some light clouds passing in front of Saturn right now. Do you see those two?
Yeah, it looked like it went really downhill.
Yeah. So I will have to go check. But first of all, let me try something. Let me turn off the camera here. Not the camera, but the 4K video. And do a little longer exposure here. See, that's I should be able to see. Yeah, we definitely have clouds.
Yeah, it's fading out as we look at it.
Yes, I'm watching it. There it went. Bing. Okay, so that said, we got a little bit of view of Saturn. Okay. So that tells me that we're getting clouds down here. So let's try and go up here. I may have to I showed Daryl a photo I took the other day of the Veil supernova remnant with the moon out, and it's gorgeous. It came out beautiful.
It is. It's very nice.
Yeah, and I want to try and find. Well, first of all, I'm going to try and go to Alberio. If I can't get to Alberio, then I'll have to do something else. But I'll have to move the dome. But let's try. Bing, zoom, bang, zoom. Or Sheldon says, zoom, 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 zoom. Yes, sir. Oh, there's Alberio. Look at that. Alberio is my favorite double star, guys. I think I've told you this 1,000 times. The blue star is actually a B8 type star. The orange star is a K type star, and they're about just over 5,000 astronomical units apart. And for reference, when we look at, for instance, our solar system, Neptune is 30 astronomical units away. These stars are 5,000 astronomical units apart. That's not hay, I'll tell you. All right, so let's go here. I actually like this song. I don't know why. We'll just let it play. I know it's gonna be loud. All right, so now we'll bring maybe it's the minor tones in this song, you know. But I really enjoy this type of stuff. Sounds like a movie soundtrack, doesn't it? Yes, sir. And I'm sort of partial to movie type soundtracks. Okay, there's Alberio. Let me bring it over for us. So you can see now. You can actually see now how this star is really orange and this one's kind of blue. It actually shows up better when you actually move it. So when I move it, you'll actually watch it go. You'll see the color go with it.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah. And why is that?
Blue, well, really blue.
Yeah, and to actually do this and get a good shot of it, we can just do this. I will take an 8-second photo and I'll turn off the tracking. So I'll turn off the telescope drive, okay, and you'll see it immediately start to drift. All right, and now we'll take a picture of it for 8 seconds, which we're doing right now. And on the screen, it freezes, by the way, at that last moment. Okay. Yeah, Lawrence of Arabia, that's right. Okay. And now we can see nothing yet. There we go. Okay, so now you can see now the colors. So you can see the orangey color here, the definite blue color there. Yeah, really pretty.
Yes.
Absolutely. I just love it. And you know, we got all these things up our sleeve here in our arsenal of tools, you know? Okay, so tracking is back on. And now let's do another, we'll say 8 seconds at 10,000 right now, just to capture Alberio in its glory. And look at that. Now you can see a little bit better what I was talking about. See how the colors show so beautifully? Look at that, just sitting out there in the universe. Right. Surrounded by all these other stars. You've got this beautiful orange star, this beautiful blue star. Gosh, you just want to go up to them and circle them, you know? Which we do in Space Engine, by the way. That's one of our things we've done. We can just run up to these in Space Engine. And eventually, actually I did it the other night. I may combine Space Engine with SkyTour LiveStream, where we're actually looking at real live objects and then going to see them in Space Engine and circling around them because they're in 3D. It's really gorgeous stuff. And I just cannot, I just can't say enough. So, that said, now that I know we can look at that, I want to go somewhere else. And we're going to go down now a little bit to this real dumb nebula. The dumbbell. Yeah, the dumbbell looks really pretty with this new filter. We're going to check it out. As long as we can get to it. Okay, so we're coming down. Oh, it's looking good. Papa Tom. Yeah, you know, Yanni is great. I've actually played a lot of his music. I did a lot of videos that put his music in the backdrop. But, alas, I don't know if I have the rights to play that. This is all royalty-free stuff that I'm playing. And a lot of it's beautiful. If you know anything different about Yanni, let me know, because I do really like that music. I grew up listening to Yanni's music, actually. It's really pretty. You know who Yanni is, right, Daryl?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My favorite, maybe for that genre of music, is Jean-Michel Jarre, the French guy.
Oh, yeah. He's good, too.
Yeah, I like him. His music can be a little more melodramatic at times. Equinox and Oxygen are great albums.
Yes, that's true. Oxygen, I had that. I also enjoyed Enigma. 10 seconds at 10,000, by the way, for the dumbbell. And I apparently missed it. I somehow missed the dumbbell, folks. I shall find it for you momentarily.
Oh my God.
I know, it's like the first. Well, it's the first time. Oh, well, no wonder. It would help if I actually told the telescope to go there. Okay, well, now we're going. No wonder. Alrighty, and off we go. Yeah. Okay. Yes, Muttley, it really is really good. All right, and now we're gonna bring this over a bit and go up a bit.
Yeah, if you ever watched Carl Sagan's original Cosmos program,
Absolutely.
He used oxygen and Equinox on that, and also I want to say Vangelis. I forget whoever.
Yes, Vangelis.
Who else?
John Vangelis. Yeah. Okay. Now we're gonna do the Dumbbell Nebula 10 to 10,000. There we go. Not bad for a moon out. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
It's a bright moon too, and it looks pretty good. Look at that. So here's now when we look at this, guys, you can actually see this reddish area here, reddish area there. This actually has a modeling. I'm at 10,000 ISO too, so it's taking a little bit. It looks a little noisy, but I get rid of the noise later on. But you can see the modeling in here, which is actually there. This whole area, all right, the central star is that right there in the middle, just above the fingers. Okay, it's that central star. I'll get a little closer. You can see it now. Right there. That's the central star. That's a white dwarf. And this blue area is doubly ionized oxygen, meaning that the star had made oxygen in its atmosphere, and of course it wasn't glowing in the star's atmosphere at that point. It was just atoms of oxygen in the atmosphere of the star. But then when it went into the red giant mode and sloughed off its outer layers, these are the outer layers we're looking at. Okay. And some stars push them off in various directions, and this one is what's called a bipolar nebula. No, it doesn't have behavioral problems. It actually, it heads off in one direction or the other, either through the North Pole or equatorially. And this is, thanks, Jeff. This nebula here is actually relatively close to us, and so we can see some really good detail in it, as opposed to other nebulae like it that are a little farther away. Probably the best planetary nebula in the sky for us to see, every day in SkyTour LiveStream in the summer. This white dwarf, though, is so hot, and the ultraviolet especially, it's very, very high energy, that it actually causes the oxygen atoms in this nebula to glow in this characteristic blue color. All right, and then the outer red is neon and hydrogen, what's also made to glow. Now, you might say, well, how come it doesn't happen out here? How come nothing out here is made to glow? Why is it just glowing in here? Well, the star has a range, and the intensity of this radiation literally falls off as the square of the distance away from the center of this nebula. So nebulae like this are always a pretty certain diameter, and so that's kind of one of those things. If it was a young nebula just expanding out into the void, then we could erroneously assume that it had already expanded to its full diameter, and of say a light year or so. But if it was a young nebula, we would be wrong, and we might calculate the distance incorrectly. But the whole point is, if we can detect further gas that's out beyond the nebula, that's the type that we see here, then we know that it's still expanding, right? If we don't see any more out there, then it means that this stuff is still expanding out to there and hasn't gotten farther. But beyond a certain distance, this ultraviolet light from the star can no longer ionize or make this stuff glow. So a planetary nebula will always have a discrete, definitive diameter. The trouble is knowing where it is in the cycle, how far out that stuff has gone, like I said. So this is kind of an interesting nebula. This nebula has always been a pleasure to see, and I really enjoy looking at this nebula, and it never gets old. And speaking of that, never getting old, I'm going to take one more photo of it, and we're going to try and do a little bit more here. So let's go to this. Okay, so here's where I want to be, and we're going to take this and we're going to drop it down just a little. Okay, and let's take a 15-second exposure. Actually, you know what? Let's go to 20. Why not? Let's take the risk. and we'll see if we get any kind of star walk. I've been having a problem with the drive. I have to figure it out. In the east-west direction, I get a little bit, sometimes I get trailing. And when I go to 20 seconds, I'll usually get some trailing, which I've never gotten before. I'll fix it. It'll be all fixed eventually. I just have to figure it out.
Think it's mechanical or electronic?
Maybe. But I don't think we have to worry about it with this exposure. I think we did okay.
Yeah, looks fine.
Yeah, but let's close in and see. Yeah, not bad. So you can see that central star, really nice right there. And you can see the reddish area. This is a very prominent knotted area of red gas, probably neon and hydrogen down here. And then this is the oxygen halo. And it's thickest in here. Now, what's that look like in 3D? Well, it might look like a 3D hourglass. We're not sure, but I would think that it probably would be, because stars are spherical, and they would probably put these things, slough these things off in a somewhat spherical manner. One more photo. I just want to, excuse me. Just want to head west a little bit. Okay, and looking at this, I think we want to go. We'll be fine right there. So let's do that. Let's go do. Oh, do I dare? I'll do a 30-second shot. Why not? At 10,000. Let's see what I get. Again, this is the Dumbbell Nebula. And if you're interested in the facts about the dumbbell, well, the Dumbbell Nebula is about 861 light years away in the constellation of Vulpecula, one of Amanda's favorite constellations. And so it is a beautiful little object. And now we'll see whether and another good shot. Very good. That's 30 seconds. Check it out. Look at the difference in detail, huh? And folks, we have a full moon out, and we still got this kind of detail. It's a full moon, nearly full. It's just past full. And check it out. Okay, we see detail in here that's really naughty, and not naughty, but naughty. Knotty. Really cool.
Kanati.
It's Kanati, that's right. Good night, Marianne. Thank you for coming out. I really enjoyed your company. Say good night to Don. Good night, Don. Good night, Don. From all of us here at SkyTour LiveStream to you out there, we'll say good night for now, and we'll see you in the morning, I'm sure. So now, look how sharply defined this is. This what's interesting about this is this shows us this is a front. This is a front of moving material that's moving away from the star, same as down here. But the thing is, in some cases, we don't see what else is in this interstellar medium. Okay, certainly something in the interstellar medium is causing this interaction that makes this thing glow. Maybe collisions with a denser area of space out here could be causing something out here. Same as in here. So it's interesting how along the borders here we're seeing this. Now it stands to reason that maybe hydrogen was expelled first, but why wouldn't we see it out here? Why don't we see any red out here? That's part of the bipolar morphology of these planetary nebulas. So it's pretty fascinating how this stuff actually comes to pass and works out. I want to do one more 30-second shot. You know why? I want to go up to 12,800. I'm really pushing my luck. So we'll go up there. So now we're on their way now with that. And now we got this. So now if I were to... Okay, here we go. So now I'm going to do this and do some filters here. I'm going to play with the filters on this existing one. And let's give it a little color correction, shall we? Let's give a little bit of color correction.
Always looks like an apple core to me.
Yeah, it does. Okay, this one did not come out as well. All right. But it's okay. We got some good ones, didn't we? All right, and I want to... Oops, sorry. There we go. This one did not come out as well, and I'm okay with that because I'm pleased with what we did get. Alright, so I'm going to drop down to 20 seconds at 12,800 will give us the same thing we got when we did 30 seconds at 10,000. You go up one, you go down one. It's a one-to-one relationship with the ISO versus the exposure time. So if we went to 15 seconds, which is a shorter exposure time, but went up to 16,000, we'd get the same exact result as if we went to 12,800 and then went up to 20 seconds. See, drop one, raise another by one, and you get the same result. The only difference is that if we wanted to say drop 1, 2, 3, 4, well, from here to the limit, we only go right to 30 seconds. So we'd have to go up down to the bulb setting and then leave this exposure going for an additional amount of time to make up the difference. And that's where what we do in astronomy is we do something called guide the image. We're not guiding any images in SkyTour LiveStream. That's the next telescope that's going to do that. It's actually going to track the stars automatically at a very microscopic level, and it's going to track their motions and keep every exposure we do perfect. And I cannot wait to do that. And that's going to be the Arizona scope.
Will you be doing that with a guide telescope or with off-axis guider, or?
No, it's going to be a separate guide telescope doing all that work. The main instrument. Now, for folks that are wondering what all that stuff is, an off-axis guider is one that actually takes a tiny little bit of the field that you're seeing and pulls a little bit out of it and picks a star within that field. Wow, look at that. See that plane go through?
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. And
that's cool.
And it will allow us to guide on that. But we're not going to actually see that with any scopes that we use because we don't use off-axis guider. I do not want to pick off any piece of our field whatsoever.
Right.
Yeah. But you all saw the plane go through. That was cool. We saw a satellite. We saw a plane. I mean, we got some pretty interesting stuff showing up here. Okay. Now we're going to see what we got here. Okay, not perfect. I needed to do some adjustment again. Excuse me again. My voice is giving me issues. Okay. Should have taken that drink before. All right. Well, anyway, we did see the dumbbell. Now we go up north now a little bit to see if we can go near Chiliac in Vega. Lyra in the constellation of Lyra, and look for.
Wonder what that could be.
I don't know. Let's find out. We're gonna look for this.
You know what it is.
Of course I do.
I know what it is.
Zoom, 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 zoom. Yeah. Wow. Okay. All
Mark,
right.
could you excuse me just a moment, please?
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on.
Yes, sir.
Be right back.
All right, I'll be right here. Okay. Now we're set there. Let's go this way and come up. A little bit this way. I might have a dome in the way here, so let me just check. No. Alrighty, yay. I think maybe we'll be okay. Okay, 20 seconds is too long. At 10,000 especially. I bet you I could capture this by just going down to about 3,200 for 8 seconds. Undoubtedly it'll capture it. Let's just do it. Let's see what we get. Indeed. Ah, yes. Notice the red. I have the red light on the dome, and we're being caught by just a little bit of the dome there. But you can actually see the blue and the red colors. It's gorgeous. So I will wait for Daryl to come back, and then I will run outside and fix the dome. Boy, it's pretty. Oh, yeah. While I'm waiting, I just want to say hi to the folks that are in the chat. You guys are wonderful. You are what makes this a success. You know. Daryl's back. I hear him.
Yeah. Hi, I'm back. I had to go grab something to drink myself. You motivated me.
All right. Yeah.
I see red in your image. Are you? Is the edge of the dome?
Yes. So I'm gonna run out. If you don't mind, I'll be right back because the Ring Nebula is looking beautiful. So I'll be right back, and I'll do a cloud assessment. Oh, I'm also getting an all-sky camera, by the way, guys. So we'll be able to look at the all-sky as well. A little different from the all-spark, but it'll be the all-sky camera that I'll be using to determine whether the night is going to be good for viewing. All part of the remote operation. I need to have a weather station, all-sky camera, a secondary telescope on top of the other original telescope, second camera, so we can switch off and do wide field, and then some not so wide field stuff like this. But I shall be right back. Okay, Daryl?
Very good.
I shall return.
I'll try to keep him entertained. The Ring Nebula is one of my all-time favorite objects. It's Messier 57. Sits down at the far end of the constellation Lyra from the star Vega. This thing will just knock your socks off if you see it through the eyepiece. Actually, see it with your eye. It looks just like God was blowing smoke ring out in space. You don't see color with the eye, generally speaking, but to see it in gray, it's really amazing to see. It really does look like a big smoke ring out in space. Speaking of Vega and Lyra, all the bright stars of summer are going away. They're on the downside now. I try to go out and look at the sky every clear night, several times a night, and all the bright stars of summer, especially Vega, Altair in Aquila, and Deneb in Cygnus, they comprise the summer triangle, and they are all west of the overhead meridian by about 10:30 in the evening now. So they're setting. They're on the way to setting, and of course they're gone before morning. And when you see the bright stars of summer in the western half of the sky, well, the stars of fall are coming up in the eastern sky. You can see Fomalhaut by itself down in the south, in Pisces austrinus, the southern fish, and there's no mistaking it. If you look toward the southeast a little later in the evening, you'll see it. It's a fairly bright star all by itself. And then it's eventually followed up by a star called Deneb Kaitos, which is the tail of the whale, in the constellation of Cetus. Cetus the whale. Cetus was the sea monster in the old story of Perseus and Andromeda. Cetus was about to come chow down on Andromeda, and Perseus pulled out the Gorgon's head, Medusa's head, and showed it to the sea monster and turned the sea monster to stone. But nowadays, instead of a sea monster, we see a whale. And that's Deneb Kaitos.
And I'll put the accoutrements.
Welcome back.
Screamer back on my face. All right.
See you, Tom.
Oh, Papa Tom heading out. Very nice. I'm glad you could come. All right. So now, let's do this. And now we'll do 8 seconds at 3200 because the Ring Nebula shows up with that very well. And there we go. A little more though. Alright. A little longer exposure maybe. Actually, I'll leave it. Do that and just go up 3. No, I'm going to do this. Okay, so 4,000 at 15 seconds. What do you say?
Sure.
Good. I'm glad you agreed. And we're going to jog to the west a little bit. And off we go. And now we come back in and we should see the result. Alrighty.
Nice.
Not bad, huh?
Uh-huh.
That's not. That's actually the update, and it didn't come out so good. So I will update this again. Yeah. Yeah.
The morphology of planetary nebulas is just, it blows my mind. You just looked at the dumbbell and, hey, it looked like an apple core.
Yeah.
And now you look at the ring nebula and it looks like a ring.
Yeah.
And, you're thinking about looking at cross sections or whatever. Are we seeing it end on or at a right angle? And, if you look at the Helix Nebula, I meant to ask you about the Helix,
Sure.
too. It has a really distinctive spiral structure to it.
Yeah, actually.
It looks sort of like a pinwheel firework, you know? Been sitting there spinning or something.
Well, this particular one, okay, is interesting because this ring structure that we see here may not be a ring at all. Okay, it might actually be a barrel, and we're looking down the end of it, which, and here, but on the edge, you're looking at your hand on edge, so you're seeing through more hand. Here, you're looking through the fingers. You can't see through the fingers on the edges. So from everywhere you look at this, it should be a ring, because the central part is going to be less material that you're looking through, and along the edges, you'll see through more material. So there should be a way to test that. I really believe that that's what's going on here, but I don't know for sure. But I know one thing. I love finding out about these things. So, I mean, it's good stuff. So,
have you ever tried imaging the Helix, Mark?
Yes, I have, and I've actually imaged the Helix. The trouble is, from here, it's kind of low on my horizon.
Yes.
So
I know it's big and it's very faint too.
Yes. Yep.
Maybe we'll see. Is it in Aquarius? I forget.
Yes.
Little farther east from where you are now.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see. Maybe if you tried that again during the fall or something.
Yes, on a spectacular night, the Helix. I imaged the Helix, and it was still very faint. Which is too bad because I really wanted to catch it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only time I ever saw the Helix, it was up in the mountains at a star party. Guy had a Celestron 14-inch.
Yeah.
And he had, I want to say it was a hydrogen beta filter on the telescope. I could be wrong about that. It was a long time ago. But it was dim and it was ghostly, but it was big. And, you could see the Helix. It was really something.
Yeah. I'm noticing that I'm getting a little star walk issue, so I'm gonna correct this.
Think it might be time to mechanically, physically adjust the backlash on your scope? I know you ride that thing pretty hard sometimes.
Yes, I do. But that's what they're meant to be. That's how they're meant to be ridden, But But you're right, and I think what I have to do is adjust the backlash feature, which like I said, I reset all the settings in the telescope at one point. and when I reset them, the backlash feature was also reset, and I did not recover it.
Right.
And that was a mistake. I should have done that. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm a mechanic. I think mechanically, so I was thinking mechanical backlash, perhaps.
Well, yeah. I mean, that means replacing
not
gears.
Hard to do.
It means replacing gear sets, yeah?
Replacing? No. You would have to take your telescope down from its pier, the mount, and look at the base of the drive. You can remove the base plate, and you will see the large, the worm drive, the pinion and the worm gear.
Yep.
And there is a plate you can loosen and carefully adjust the mesh of the pinion to the gear itself, to the worm gear, the worm wheel. Something you want to be careful of, but you loosen that plate and barely tweak it, and then check, if you have any, you can induce any rocking still between the pinion and the wheel.
Yeah.
And yet simultaneously not be tight to the wheel.
Gotcha.
It's just kind of fiddly, but I don't think it's hard to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I have no problem trying to do that.
A little fresh lubrication on the wheel may be good too.
I'm sure, because of all the winters it's been sitting in there. It's been, I haven't lubricated that because it's a sealed system, but I could open it up and do that. I don't know what mess that would give me, but I could try it. I'm going to try for the eastern veil on this moonlit, terrible night. And we actually have clouds out around, by the way, just so you know. But there's none here at this point. So I'll see if I can get something out of this. Okay. Let's do this. Alright, so we got that. I'm just gonna move me up. And see if that works. I'm gonna go. Let's get rid of the backlash in the gears. I tend to drive it westward a little bit.
Right.
Because that's where it's gonna catch, so to speak. So 15 seconds, and I'm going to go at a much higher, 12,800, just to see. See if we can catch it. And I'm going to make sure I didn't do something stupid. I'm going to go and look at my... Okay. Yeah, see. Alright, we're there. Just to make sure. I didn't want to be silly like I did last time. It's there. It's very faint. You see it right there?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to bring us over. I had to go over more. I didn't go over enough. Okay. Okay. Now we'll take another photo. We'll do it at... We're getting... a lot of moon glow right now. There's some clouds floating around out here in this location too, so that's makes trouble. It makes trouble for us. Clouds bad.
Oh, part of the great circle of life.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see here. You can see this little arch. This is the eastern veil. Now, on a non-moonlit night, the eastern veil is just brilliant. It looks so incredibly nice,
Yeah. Oh, I saw those pictures you sent me. It really popped under the filter.
Yeah, it did. And these are still popping, but they're just not they're not as brilliant, unfortunately. Okay, this is where I want to be.
It's interesting with the same filter. Some objects are very subtle now due to the moonlight. Some just really jump out at you.
Yeah, like these areas here, the nebula these are green light areas that you can see. Really, really nice. It's really pretty. All right, well, clearly that's about as best as we're going to get for the very, very faint things tonight. But on a moonlit night, in the past, we wouldn't have even seen it. So we're getting a lot more detail for our time in the telescope. You know, really nice though.
Yeah.
And that's what the remnant would look like as a whole. This is the western veil over here. It's a spindly shaped thing, and then the eastern veil is what we were just imaging, which is like that. That's really something. That's a supernova remnant, the remnant of a star that exploded not so long ago. And then I wish that there was other. Well, you know what? The crescent may show up. Why don't we go look at that?
Sure.
The Crescent Nebula, and we'll make that our last object for the night. Let's go check out the Crescent. The Crescent Nebula, as opposed to Isla Nublar. Yes. The Crescent is a interesting location because it was an area that was actually the shape is caused due to a star called the Wolf-Rayet star, a very, very powerful star, a very, very high energy ultraviolet, and there's a theory that says that these Wolf-Rayet stars might actually be powering some of the planetary nebulae as well. That's something that's still researching. It's still being researched. But here we can see the crescent right there. See it?
Yep.
Yeah, it's really quite nice. And a little... bring it in here and do a little instant processing. And you can kind of see it a little better, but it's... Again, the moon is now interfering more fully because the moon is now up quite a lot.
Right.
And on that note, I would just like to say that it's probably a good time to close the dome and take our telescope and put it to bed for the evening. We've gone actually 1 hour, 59 minutes, 42 seconds. So we're going to be able to end this right at the 2 hour mark. Not bad. But I want to thank you guys for coming out. I want to thank all of you for joining us for a while and hanging out with us. As usual, I'm really grateful to have you guys with us. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Please subscribe to SkyTour LiveStream so you can get updates and join us the next time we go live. My continued desire to do this is based on you guys and whether you want to see more of it. If not, well, then maybe SkyTour LiveStream will fade off into the darkness someday, like our universe. Like our universe.
Don't talk like that.
Yeah, I know. I'm probably lying, of course, because I love the universe so much and I can't help sharing it. But I'm actually thinking about I'm actually considering a GoFundMe program for getting the observatory in Arizona. But I really have trouble asking people for donations. I really do. So I'd rather work it out without having to depend on people. I mean, it sounds like begging to me. But somebody brought it up and said, well, you should do that. Hey, Trish. Nice to see you. Daisy and Zoe. Nice to see you guys. I'm glad you guys came out and hung out with us for a while. I really treasure you guys. You're wonderful. So I will talk to you the next clear night. We do have a moon that's fading away now, which is good news for me, bad news for P&K Space Imaging. My buddies Keith and Paul. But I hope you guys enjoy. Sorry for the cough. I'm doing this. Enjoying. That's a nice idea. Maybe a Patreon would be helpful. And that might work. And a GoFundMe. I just want to be able to get the observatory up and running and get the new telescope installed out there. and then continue to bring this to you. I think you guys know by now that I'm a lifer when it comes to this, but this is good. I just want to say also, I should be going to Arizona again in November to scout the site and to do some more talks out there. October, though, before I go to in November, before I might be going actually to Sweden to do some talks again. I'm still trying to put together a Northern Lights expedition to Tromsø, Norway, northern Norway. There's some beautiful areas up there that I've been made aware of by the folks there that are wonderful for Northern Lights expeditions. And that would really be a fun time. If you're interested, drop me a line. You can reach me at SkyTour Radio at kgraradio.com. I hear you crackling over there, Daryl.
Sorry.
It's all right. If you're interested in going on something like that, I don't know costs yet, but I'm going to work with probably a travel organization to help put that together. But you've never seen the Northern Lights unless you've seen them from Norway. Let me tell you, they're stunning. And I agree, Joanna. You won't miss them. They're unforgettable. So that said, we'll do that. And that might be October, which is only a month away. And it's probably too soon for the Northern Lights, but we're probably going to do Sweden. We've already got folks in Sweden working up whipping the folks into a frenzy, actually, to see us talk over there. And I'm part of something called the New Sciences Tour, and it's something that I put together with Ket Thorvaldsen, who's she talks about theoretical astrophysics, but at a layman's level, and at a level that she understands that is very different from what you've been taught in school. And I must say, it's captured my attention as an astronomer. I find her stuff really interesting. So that's something we'll talk about probably in the Stockholm region next month, perhaps. And if that doesn't work out, then maybe it'll be later on in the year when we can actually also couple it with that Northern Lights expedition. So, thanks, guys. I will talk to you very soon. Daryl, thank you so much for joining me tonight. That was wonderful.
Oh, thank you for having me on, Mark.
Of course. You're just a lot of fun to have on. You're just, it's really nice to have another astronomer with me on SkyTour LiveStream. You're no slouch. You approach astronomy from a very different angle that I do, and it adds tremendously to the overall group. So show your love for SkyTour LiveStream, guys. Give us a thumbs up. You're giving Daryl a thumbs up too. And we'll talk to you on the next SkyTour LiveStream. And don't forget, keep looking up, guys. So we'll see you later, and good night.
Good night, all.